Before nations had names, this land already spoke. In wind, in fire, in the silence between heartbeats.
We were born from the dust of her breath, and we called her mother.
To us, the land was not property. It was family. Every river carried memory. Every drop was an ancestor's voice.
Our laws were not written on paper. They were sung in the rhythm of the drum. When the buffalo moved, the earth herself was breathing.
We marked our stories in color and rhythm, not for ownership, but for belonging.
Then came men who saw the land not as soul, but as resource. They came with prayers of conquest and tongues of iron. They said their God had given them our land, but the land never spoke such words. They took the earth not first with guns, but with paper.
Each treaty was a wound disguised as mercy.
Our borders were rivers and stars. They drew lines through both.
They called it progress. We called it desecration.
They promised protection. They delivered prisons.
We were told to move, to leave behind the bones of our ancestors.
Each drop fell like a name forgotten by the wind.
When they took our food, they took our future.
The lake wept with us.
They said the land was empty, but it was full of spirits and sorrow.
Even in ashes, we planted hope.
We were a people of motion, yet they tried to pin us to fences.
The Dow's Act, they said it was to civilize. It was to divide.
They cut our land into pieces and called it peace.
They took our land, then they took our tongues.
They tried to erase us with education.
Iron replaced river. Steam replaced wind.
Every mile of track was a scar across our mother's skin.
When the buffalo died, part of our soul went with them.
But the earth remembers what was taken.
They called us rebels, but we were defenders of memory.
They built monuments for their victory. We built silence for our mourning.
Still, the wind refused to obey them. They could not own what lives inside the dust.
But even in our darkest night, the dawn waited. We are still here.
The land never forgot our names.
This stone has seen conquest and sunrise. It remembers both.
And though they drew borders on our bodies, our spirits still roam free.
They called them the Black Hills. We called them the heart of the earth.
Every mountain was a prayer. Every shadow a spirit watching. Then came the hunger for gold, and the promise of forever turned to ash. They carved into the body of the earth, searching for what could never feed the soul.
The Treaty of Fort Laramie, broken like every oath before it.
They said we were savages. But who then burned the sacred hills?
We buried our songs in the ashes, waiting for rain to find them.
A century later, the law spoke and admitted its own shame.
They offered us silver for the body of our mother. We refused. You cannot buy back what was never for sale.
They carved their faces into our gods and called it freedom.
But the stone remembers who it belonged to. We spoke to the rock before they wrote upon it.
They built monuments for memory. We became the memory itself.
Now the sacred hills wear asphalt like scars.
But the new generation walks with fire in their veins.
At Standing Rock, we stood again, not for war, but for water.
The same prayers our grandmothers whispered now thunder through microphones.
They thought our voices were buried, but the earth amplified them.
We still fight the same battle, not against men, but against forgetting.
They still draw lines across living bodies.
But our children plant more than seeds. They plant return.
We teach them not to take back the land, but to care for it again.
Old spirits and new tools must now share the same wind. For the first time, the government listened Flist and returned part of what was stolen.
It was not victory,
And wires.
it was restoration.
We do not seek revenge. We seek remembrance.
Every thread weaves sovereignty. Every color retells our survival.
We write our stories now on concrete, and even it begins to listen.
For every child that laughs here, a treaty breathes again.
They think sovereignty means power, but true power is listening.
Our warriors now carry laws instead of arrows.
The ancestors walk beside us in every courtroom, unseen but undefeated.
The new map is not drawn in borders, but in understanding.
Our drums echo now between glass towers. The
The prophecy said the eagle would rise again. Now it flies through our cities.
Even here, beneath their lights, the earth still breathes.
Our daughters now speak where our grandmothers were silenced.
When she speaks, the ancestors nod.
From every tribe, the circle begins to close, sovereignty returning like the tide.
In every age, we lose something, and in losing, we remember.
The fire is not for warmth. It is for witness. They stand with me still, say, the nameless, the fallen, the forgotten.
And now, it is his turn to listen, to hold what I can no longer carry.
We walked from mountain to mountain, never leaving her sight, our mother, the earth.
The land still breathes beneath the concrete, still whispers beneath the noise. The eagle is not gone. It merely flew higher than our grief.
Our sovereignty begins where our hands touch the earth.
The circle widens again. What was divided? The women have always been the keepers of the flame. Each spurk a prayer, each star a promise.
Our sovereignty was never granted. It was remembered.
This movement is not revenge. It is return.
We are the descendants of survival, and survival is sacred.
What we give to them is not anger, but memory.
We are not yesterday. We are the continuation of all tomorrows.
Even the thunder remembers our names.
And when the rain returns, it does not ask who owns the ground.
The cities do not silence us. They amplify us.
The spirit of the hunt still runs, though the weapons have changed.
This is not the end of our story. It is the beginning of remembering.
Once we rode with the storm. Now we walk with wisdom.
History is not a wound. It is a drum.
The land takes no sides. It only waits for balance.
Our sovereignty is not a protest. It is a homecoming.
Every acre returned is a heartbeat restored. The prophecy said the people would rise again, not with war, but with wisdom.
We have always been here. We will always be here.
And so the circle closes, not in ending, but in continuation. The ancestors are not gone. They have become the light that guides us.
From their small hands, a new beginning takes root.
Remember us, not as stories, but as soil.
Because as long as the fire lives, so do we.
The land returns to those who remember it, and the remembering has begun.